Hi, it's Jon Binnie, and I'm a spiritual mentor, and I'd love to share with you some beautiful ghostly experiences that I've had in the last couple of days. So to explain the context, I've been attending a really beautiful meditation training session for the last 2 days, and it is a 5-day program with led by a beautiful tutor, and then also there are 12 participants, including myself, and we're spending time like learning about like all back to basics of meditation, like how to train people in the very early stages, like if you're totally new to meditation, like how to do it. And the participants are just incredible, such a beautiful group of souls, and all so gifted in so many different like complementary, alternative healing and other professional therapies, and just incredible to meet them. And so to share the experience, the training is held at this beautiful old stables. It's the restoration yard in the Dalkeith Country Park in Scotland, and it's not that far from where I live. It's about a 40 minute drive. And so the sessions are held in the loft, which is just up above this really beautiful shop, and the buildings are the stables. And I'm used to now for several years helping people with a whole range of psychic and energy healings and activations, and I myself are very used to seeing ghosts and energies and entities. And this has been a journey for me over the last 5 years. Like, I might have been born like this, and I think I shut it down around the age of 8. And so only in the last 5 years, I really started to pick up these abilities again and just develop them each day. And so what was really magical during the session was that when we would go into meditations, I started to see some of the resident ghosts that were there. So there was, first of all, a woman appeared just in the corner of the room. So it's like this big kind of open loft there, and we're sat in a kind of semicircle, like a horseshoe shape, doing our meditation for about 5 to 10 minutes each of the meditations. And this woman appeared, and she was kind of like, she was quite mischievous. Like she was saying to me, oh, she would like knock over the glass of water next to the tutor's laptop and play with us a bit. Like I didn't feel like a bad energy, like a negative energy from her, more that she wanted to make herself known, and that she wanted to show that she can interact with the environment around us. And then I'd asked her to leave, and I then did what I'm very used to doing, and I created this like energy bubble, like a golden bubble around the group, around the room in the area, leaving just enough space for this entity to still be able to like stand outside of that, and to just like between the door and our group, so that they weren't like pushed out too far, respecting, of course, that this isn't my property. It's not my home, and nor do I have the permission of the owner of the home to do this. And in fact, arguably, the ghosts have more rights to that space and time than we do. And so I just said, look, for while we're running these sessions, please don't come into this space. And so after the meditation, I was asked, because I'd shared that I have like developed psychic abilities, and I can see ghosts, and that the class were asking me like, well, what did I experience? And that was a new experience for me, like talking to people in a group of still relative strangers. I met them on Monday. So this is like day kind of 1.5. And I shared the story with them. And then, so we went into another meditation, and I then had the husband of this ghost, who was another ghost, like come into the space. So he stood just at the outside of the boundary that I'd set, and he was really annoyed with me. He was like, John, why did you push my wife out? Like, you don't have the right to just push her out this space. And if you're going to ask us to leave, ask nicely. And that's all he really came to do. He was just like, show some respect. I think he was like saying like, show some respect for the dead. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to be, so overbearing with my energy, and with my protection of the group. So he wandered off, and then the woman, the wife, came back, the wife ghost, and so she was saying, look at me, like I'm nice, like I'm a nice person, she was saying, and she was like wearing this long white dress, and it reminded me like a bridesmaid or a wedding dress, and she was kind of showing it off. She was like look at me, I'm lovely, and so I was asked at lunch by the group if I'd seen anything else, and I said yes. Like the husband had come in, and I shared more of this, and each time I shared with the group, it was really beautiful. I'm not used to doing that. I have gone to retreats or like dedicated either online or in-person events where everyone shares very similar levels of abilities, or there are more people like that, and it's easier to I found it more comfortable for me to talk about, and in this group I'm learning this big lesson to like really integrate and lead by example, right? Because I'm picking these things up, and it's so easy for me to just dismiss it and just go, oh, John, these are just figments of your imagination. Don't bother the group about it. And yet every time I share what's going on, it's really well received by the group, and they're really intrigued about what happened. And so then further later on, just towards the end of yesterday, in the sessions, we were doing like a sound meditation, and so the sound meditation included like expanding your awareness and feeling this like feeling the sound waves coming from outside of the building, like far in the distance, resonating through the structures and coming into our ears and then into our bodies, and how that all felt. And as that's happening, I was shown that in the center of back in time, I think this dates back over 100 years ago. Back in time, there was this. There was a group that would practice healing there. We would today we would call them witches, but it's not a name that resonates with everyone, and it's not what I feel like they called themselves. And I did see, and I did share with the group earlier that day that I felt that our ancestors were really delighted that our group had come together and were doing these meditations together and learning how to bring these like healing modalities and expansive modalities into this very 3D world, this very materialistic world, like helping teach people like how to get started in this beautiful gift. And so there's definitely some connections with the group I was seeing, and I was seeing this group sat in a circle about 100 years ago, and they were performing healings, and there was a huge amount of energy in the area. Like the area, I'm going to explore it more today, understanding more about the land and likely the ley lines that run through it. There's super powerful energies that run through there. And so this group used that energy to help healing, and they did like grid work to help the country and the planet. And so I was also shown that they had like an overload of energy, an excess of energy. And so they'd invited in a group of like darker witches or healers who were very used to creating portals, and these portals would create like a black hole in the ground, and the black hole would like suck down like energy, and usually it was meant for like bad ill intentions, but the very kind of light group had asked them to come in and to assist, and so they'd created this portal, and it had helped balance the area. Now that portal still existed, and I felt it like draining a lot of the sound in this meditation, and so I stepped in and closed that portal, and then I took some rest overnight, and this morning just from home I did it remotely as well. Like I astral projected into there and closed that portal, and it feels a lot better, a lot calmer. So I hope you found this story exciting, and I can't wait to share more. The clear message is, if you have these abilities, please share them. Please share them with the world. Sending my love.